Good morning, students. A very, very warm and a happy welcome to all of you to the live classes of ICAI. We are doing business correspondence and reporting, and the chapter in discussion today is Introduction to Basics of Writing. So nice to see you all back. I've seen many of you have logged in. It's a nice weather. The north of India is quite flooded with rains. I hope everybody's safe. Everybody's in their own houses, and the floods and the havoc caused by the rains have not affected you and your families. So please take care and keep studying hard, keep joining classes. It's so good to have all of you in class. Good morning, Pal, Prakriti, Shalini, Shoaib, Asha. Good morning, Maish. Good morning, Dhruv and Sneha, Dharani and Ruhani. Good morning, Om. I think Mr. Om is the first one to join. Every time I see his good morning message, the earliest. Good morning, Sovan and Hannah. Great. So now that we are here, Komal Preet is also here. I think we've done a lot of discussion. So by now we know our style of teaching. You know me very well, and I know the kind of doubts you are asking. And I know this class is being really, really hardworking, because you all are asking me so many questions, which shows that there are doubts, you are working, and we really have high expectations from you. So please give it your best shot. The exams just happen suddenly, no matter how many months are left. When the exams come, they just happen. So please give it your best, study hard. There is competition everywhere, and you should always stay motivated. Watch a lot of motivational videos, stay pepped up, talk to people, open up, keep on speaking about whatever your thoughts are. Be very expressive. Don't go and sit in a shell and not talk. Write a diary if you want to. And of course, attempt the BCR paper as well as possible. Thank you so much. So let's start now. Now, today's topic is very easy. As the name suggests, it only says Introduction to Basics of Writing. So we're just doing the introduction to basics. It's not a very detailed topic, but yes, you need to understand a lot of theory questions come from this. So it's not like you can go without having read the chapter. That's not possible. Because of the theory part, you should know each and every nuance which is there in the study material. Besides that, what exactly are the basics of writing? Why do we need to do writing? The components of writing, etc. All that is very, very important. So I request you, please pay attention. And of course, whatever practice exercises I'm giving, please attempt them. I know the platform is not very convenient, but whatever best you can attempt, I would love to see your answers. Okay. So till now, I think everybody has joined. So I'll start my presentation. We have Priyadarshini and Vikas, we have Gauri and Harshita, we have Sohidullah and Shreya, and we have Anant, Monica, Juhi is here, Vivek is here, Dolly, Pratima, Ritu, Sahana, Dhyanika. Okay, great. So I have a lot of audience today. Very good. Abhishek, I will try my best. If you are attempting the paper in Hindi medium, then I think it will be a little difficult for me, because it gets very difficult to explain everything in Hindi and English. I will try my best. कि अगर आपको कुछ specific doubt है, तो उसको मैं हिंदी में बता दूंगी. But mostly I would prefer your means of communication should be English. Reason being, if you are attempting the paper in English and you're going to be joining big time corporates and MNCs, you should be able to speak the language and know the language. So this is one way where without hesitation, you can talk as much as possible. You can share your doubts. You can ask me, I can tell you. That kind of increases your understanding. Okay. That's my only thing. I am not asking you to overburden you with English. Fine. So I'll try my best. Those of you who are from Hindi medium, that बीच में थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बात कर सकते हैं. Akib, it's not like one shot. The paper, the chapter, whatever it requires, we're going to have that covered in 2 hours. Okay, so don't worry about that, whether it's one shot or it's 2 short, that wouldn't matter. So let's start. Okay, so now everybody tell me, Prasanna Hingolekar, what please, how to prepare? Prepare at this stage of your exams coming. If you ask me how to prepare, then what answer do you expect from me? I can't give you like a magic wand and okay, quick, and then I just move it around your head and you'll prepare. Study the material. You have such a nice ICAI study material. The content is so extensive. Questions are there, practice questions are there, examples are there. The content has been made keeping in mind what exactly you should know. There is no extra content, there is no irrelevant content. It has been designed in such a way that everybody understands everything. Okay, so start studying. Which books would be best to understand? Survi, there is no book to understand the BCR paper. It's all about grammar. So you can take up any school level grammar book, 10th, 11th, 12th level grammar. It's all about reading comprehension. So you can attempt CBSE papers. And of course, there are a lot of practice questions in your booklet itself. So it's more about practice here. It's nothing new. Business correspondence and reporting is just an extended version of what English you did in school. So if you come from a normal CBSE board, you would have done reading comprehension, you would have done active passive voice, you would have done article writing, you would have done, if not pressy writing, like summary writing, which is close to pressy writing. The only thing which comes out to be different is resume writing, mail writing. That is a little different. Even report writing, we have done that in school. Just that the report which we do at the CA level is much more extensive and it's going to be long and it's going to be detailed. Otherwise, there is no such thing which is difficult. There is no such thing which is maybe, let's say, I think difficult to understand. So please don't worry about it. We'll definitely do it. Okay. Okay. Fine. So this is my first slide. Let's start with this. Can you all see? Can you all see my first slide? Can you tell me a yes, please? Okay. Fine. So let's continue. Now, language is all about reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Okay. So when I say, do you know French? Do you know Sanskrit? Do you know Tamil? Do you know Spanish? What do I mean? Can you read? Can you write? Can you listen? And can you speak? Of course, if I know the language, only then can I listen. Otherwise, I am just like dumb. I don't know what you're saying when you speak French and when you speak Tamil and when you speak Marathi, right? So the only concern is knowing a language means knowing 4 components. So if you are supposed to write something in English, suppose I'm giving you a topic, write an article on the recent havoc caused by the rains in north of India. How will you write the article? You need to read a lot about it. You need to collect some information. You need to listen to the news. And then finally, you will come to collecting all that information and putting it down on a piece of paper in a very organized and structured manner. That is what writing is. Writing is just not taking down points. Writing is just not taking down bullets, but bringing out your thoughts, your ideas in a more structured and organized way, such that people like to read what you have written. Okay. So this is mostly a subject where you're going to have the theory kind of question. So you can get a question, what are the 4 components of language? This is your answer. Okay. So always remember, every chapter has some tricky questions. It has a good weightage. Don't miss any chapter. Study all chapters very well. And don't think that any chapter has more weightage, so I should study that more, and any chapter has less weightage, I should study that less. No. Everything in your ICAI study material is important, right from the first line to the last line of the chapter. Read the examples, read the case studies, do the practice questions, do everything possible. And then your BCR paper, you will top the exam. Okay. Well, okay. Thanks, Akib. I'll take that in concern if I feel like. This is what I told you, Vansh. Okay. So next thing. Now, why is writing important? Okay, I won't show you the slide. I'll ask you, why do you think writing in today's life is very, very important? Why do we need to write? Can anybody answer? A simple general question somebody asks, why do you need writing? These days, we are in the world of science and technology. We are doing so much of information technology, right? From Chat GPT to the Bard to the other things. So why do we need to write? Can somebody give me an answer? Amit, Gauri, Manish, Pratima, please try. Anjali, Manisha, Manasvi. Good morning, Pavan. Can you try the answer, Surbi? Why do we need to write? A simple question I'm asking you. You always have to think and then come out with something good. Your reasoning and your analysis in the mind should be very, very sharp. Don't take things for granted. Don't just accept it because it's written. Okay, Varun has given me a very good example to express our knowledge to everyone. Very good. Janani says to express thoughts, opinions, and thoughts and opinions. Asha Begum says to understand the topics. Very good. Divisha says it helps in content development. Wonderful. Shweta says if we write, it stays in our mind for a long period of time. Wonderful. So the retention increases. What you are retaining in your mind actually increases when you are writing. Shweta, the retention, very good. To express, Purva says. Sakshi says we will enhance our writing speed and also we'll be able to correct errors or spelling mistakes. Okay, so she's talking about the linguistic part of it, where we are talking of correct language, correct spelling. To improve and practice, to convey a formal message. Okay, thanks, Tejaswini. Manish says to present a content in a logical manner. Good. Aniket is just wishing. Okay, Ritu says writing helps to create confidence in speaking as well. Okay, very good. So I've got really wonderful answers. I'm so happy. You all know it so well. I don't know why then, you should be having any doubt. Thank you, Reeds. Thank you, Priyanka. And thank you, Gangamma. To retain information, to express, to learn something, to preach, to spread the word, to remember things, we write. So all your answers together is what my next slide is going to be. What is the importance of writing? Now, this question is a little different from the question I asked. I asked, why do we need to write? Here I'm asking the importance of writing. So the first line which I have written, an important means of communication which helps to inform, express, rebel, and influence. These are all verbs. If you can notice, all verbs. You want to express your opinion, you can write. You want to inform somebody about the roads are blocked today, you can write in the newspaper. You want to rebel against a certain act passed by the government, you can write. You want to act as an influencer, these days this trend of influencers and YouTube is very much, so you want to act as an influencer, you can write. And then people will read your pamphlets and your flyers and they'll get influenced. So writing is a means which can do various actions. And that's why probably we say a pen is mightier than the sword. Once you write, those words can act as sharp attacks on people. Even when you're writing a small article or an editorial, the effect can be immense. The effect can be manifold. You don't realize the result of what the effect of a certain piece of writing can be. Okay, fine. So thank you so much, all of you. Yes, your message is visible. Okay. Okay, Raj and Rishika, thank you so much. Aniket and Anjali, right. So thank you all. Your answers are perfect. Next thing is different kinds of writing. So you have a newspaper. Now coming to newspapers, how many of you read a newspaper every day? Like by default every day? Once you can check that with your technical team and your counselors. Okay. Let's not talk about marks right now. You just have to study and you'll score well. So if you're reading a newspaper, I would recommend read some good national dailies, read the Hindu, which is one of the best papers in terms of language and content. Books, of course, all books which you think are relevant for your development of mind and analysis of the subjects which you have. Research journals are basically like theses, and books which are available in universities. Biographies, for that matter, a very good recommended biography is that of Mahatma Gandhi. Then you can read biographies of Hitler. So these very famous biographies by people who have made a difference in the society is what you can read. Academic books, of course, you are fully loaded with GSTs and income tax and direct tax and export import policies. So that's your academic books that, of course, you are reading. Okay. Now, the next need is the official and personal records. Like if you have some record, the school takes down your record. Okay, you got admission in so-and-so batch and so-and-so year, your parents' name, your Aadhaar card, your PAN card. All this is noted down somewhere. Whether it's official or personal, all this information is noted down. Hence, writing is important. Now, everybody should understand that this could be a question also in your exams. What is the importance of writing? And you should be able to point out these 3, 4, 5 pointers depending on the marks of the question. Because it's a subject, this is a chapter which is more theoretical, you can expect a little more theoretical questions here. Okay. Yes, Ankita, visible. मनीष, हिंदी में पढ़ते हो अगर तो फिर आप पेपर भी हिंदी में ही दोगे? Yeah, HT is good. Business Economic Times is very good. Okay, Khushi is reading Alchemist. Very nice. Mint for finance. Okay. Yes, of course, Raj, you can read books which are influencing and motivational, not a problem. Dolly Das, there is no trick to read the newspaper. You should read the newspaper. That's the only trick. You should start from the first page, take up articles which are of your choice. If you think politics is something you are averse to, then deliberately read politics. You should always read topics which are difficult so that there is nothing difficult left at some point of time. If you keep avoiding topics of not your choice, then it is very, very difficult to overcome that fear and barrier. Got it? So it's always a suggestion which I give to my students. Please read topics which are difficult. The easy ones you will definitely do. And if you ever have seen the reading comprehensions in the MTP and RTP, you will realize the topics are variety. It's a complete mix of anything from geography to politics to environment to medical to maybe sports to maybe abstract. All kinds of topics are covered in the reading comprehension. Okay. Writing is a source of livelihood, Harsh, because the authors and the famous writers, they earn money by writing. So they're not doing any other job. They get money and royalty on the basis of the books when they get published and the number of books getting sold. Okay. Swastika, you can write down points also. If it's a long mark question, if it's like a 3-mark question, then of course you have to explain. If it's like short answers, then you can write pointers. Okay. Yes, Forbes is very good, but Forbes is not right now a very good suggested way of reading because Forbes has a different style of content. Okay. I have no clue, Sonu, about the comment section. You can look at the other options of writing. Okay. Abhishek, comics is not going to help you at this stage of life. Okay, Manish. Fine. Next is it helps in content development. Now, these days, content is the key word, which means there is so much content available in the market that you have to be very sure which is relevant and which is authentic. You all have this tendency of just searching the Google for any kind of information, and whatever searches come in the first half, you tend to take that as original and true. But please, content is very, very important. So even when you are writing something, so how it is important is what you can think of. So if you have a question in your exam which says, why does writing help in content development? How will you answer it? So writing helps in content development because when we write, we are adding more and more content to the database of the already existing content for a particular topic. This adds to the information, adds to the knowledge, and also helps spread the knowledge and spread the information across people, across the society. So in this way, writing is adding on to the content. Okay. Livelihood, I just now told you, used for later references. Now, I'm sure you are referring to books which have been there from the past. So we also refer to the Vedas and Upanishads. Sometimes you go to big libraries and you refer to books written by foreign authors. You refer to books written by Indian authors for your academic purpose or for a research purpose. So that book was written maybe 20 years earlier or 30 years earlier, or maybe in the last century, but it still has validity. It is still so relevant that even today, if I have to take up a particular topic, I will always be suggested that I should refer to that book. Okay. And last of all, it gives a personal touch. Personal touch might not be possible when I talk about academic books because, that's very hardcore. But when I'm writing a pleasure book, like I'm a novelist or I'm a fiction author, then I also get a channel to express my own views, how things happen to me in my life, and molding that, I can create a story. I can have a hero, I can have a protagonist, I can have a plot, I can have a climax, etc. So books are a very good source. In fact, writing is a very good source for personal touch. And one very important source is now a blog, which is recently changed to a vlog, because I see people standing with the camera and making vlogs. That is just camera and speaking. Blog is basically writing. And there, of course, you have a lot of personal touch. Okay. So this much is clear, everybody. I hope you are doing well till now. I hope I am not in a hurry for you. You can understand. So the question is, what will they ask you? They might ask you, why is writing important? What is the importance of writing? You can list down these 3 to 4 points and explain them in one line. Okay. Friction. Where is friction? What does this friction mean? Prasanna, start studying the study material. Then we'll tell you where you have to stop and how much you can get from that. Yes, all books, Psychology of Money is a good book, but they are very niche books. They talk about one particular topic. Yes, Asha, Deccan Herald is a good newspaper. You can read that. You can read any national daily which has good language, where the information mentioned, the news mentioned is authentic, it's real, and you are not getting digressed by the other information. Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Ritu and Anjali. Let's move on. How to start writing. So it's very important. If I ask you to write 5 lines today, whether it is poetry, whether it is fiction, or I'm going to give you a topic, please write 5 lines. Everybody starts thinking, oh my God, how is it possible? How can I write? I have no clue. I haven't researched. So what I say is, okay, select what you want to write. Okay, because if I'm giving you a topic, maybe that's not of your choice. One. Secondly, even if it is of your choice, you haven't done a lot of research. So you don't know facts, you don't know what to include. And thirdly, selection is always done good if the writer himself chooses what to write, because it is more about which genres you are writing. I'll just put that word. Some people keep asking me, what's a genre? Yawns, yawners, everything we say. So yawners can be mystery. Sorry. Fiction, horror, sci-fi, etc. These are different genres of English language, even in Hindi for that matter. And depending on that, you select what you want to write. So the whole burden lies on selection. If I want to write, but I don't know what to write, then I can't finish or even start my writing. I want to write, but I want to write on my experience to a Kerala trip, to a Kashmir trip, to a Kanyakumari trip, to a Calcutta trip, to a Mumbai trip. I know what I want to write. If I want to write about the current water scenario, if I want to write about the current political scenario, if I want to write about the crisis in Ukraine, all this is what I should know. If I know my topic, I can very well write. But if I don't know what to write, but I want to write, then there is a big gap. So the first thing you should all remember is selecting what to write. Okay. Now, in this case, the order is very important. You cannot change the order. If the question says, what are the basic steps of writing? It has to be in this order, like selecting, thinking, organizing, writing, etc. You cannot have them in a random order because it will not make sense. You cannot have editing first, revising later, thinking first, selecting later, not possible. Sci-fi is a science fiction, Devisha. It's a short form for science fiction. For beginners, all newspapers are good, but reach up to the level, Harshita, where you can read the Hindu. How to write the best letter? Is it like magic, Aditya, that I'll tell you, okay, 1, 2, 3, and your best letter is here? You need to improve your language. You need to improve your vocabulary skills. You need to improve your expressions, and then you can write very well. Okay? Fine. So, Angel, the question is very, very difficult because Times of India is a daily newspaper. Economic Times is only about economics. So there is no comparison. You are comparing apples and oranges. Okay, now, Dhruv, I'm surprised you wouldn't know what is thinking also. How did you even think of the question if you don't know what is thinking? Next is thinking and brainstorming. So once your topic is selected, you will think exactly what do you have to write? How much do you have to write? And you will start collecting all the points in a rough paper. You will start putting them in a box, like, all the ideas in a box. Then you will take out the ideas and arrange them in such a way that they appear to be organized. You haven't started writing yet. You are just organizing the ideas. Okay. Next is you start writing. So now you feel confident that yes, I am done. I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of brainstorming. मैंने बहुत कुछ रिसर्च कर लिया है. मैंने यहाँ इंटरनेट से पढ़ा, मैंने लोगों से बात की, मैंने बहुत सारे रेफरेंस मटेरियल देख ली हैं लाइब्रेरी में. आई एम गुड टू गो. अब मैं राइटिंग स्टार्ट करूंगी. तो आप एक पेन लेके रात को बैठते हो एंड यू स्टार्ट योर स्टोरी, यू स्टार्ट योर आर्टिकल, यू स्टार्ट योर प्रेसी, whatever your style of writing you are doing. Once I am done, I have to revise because first attempt बहुत गलत हो सकता है, बहुत मूड चेंजेस हो सकते हैं, बहुत प्लॉट चेंजेस हो सकते हैं, बहुत कंटेंट चेंज हो सकता है. So revision of writing is very, very important. Then comes editing. अब लिख तो आपने लिया, but there might be some spelling mistakes, there might be some punctuation mistakes, there might be other grammar mistakes. उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए we send our piece of writing to a good editor. एक होता है एडिटर, जो न्यूज़पेपर का एडिटर होता है, ही इज काइंड ऑफ द हेड ऑफ द न्यूज़पेपर एंड ही राइट्स एडिटोरियल्स. एक होता है एडिटर जो बुक्स को या कंटेंट को या इंफॉर्मेशन को एडिट करता है, राइट, वो करेक्ट करता है, ही एड्स समथिंग मोर और डिलीट्स समथिंग अनवांटेड, मेकिंग द पीस लुक इवन मोर ब्यूटीफुल. एंड लास्ट ऑफ ऑल, बहुत 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 जरूरी, सारा सामान प्रिंट में जाएगा. जब तक प्रिंट नहीं होगा, जब तक मैं अपना नाम बुक पे नहीं देखूंगी, उस बुक का मुझे मजा नहीं आएगा. सो प्रिंटिंग टेक्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर. If you have written 100 books but none of them have got printed, you only have them in white sheets of paper in the form of manuscripts. आप famous भी नहीं हो, आपको कोई जानता भी नहीं है, but end of the day everybody wants to reach a stage जहां आपकी books पढ़ी जाएं, जहां आपका नाम books में आए. उसके लिए printing and publishing is very, very important. Okay, clear? Got it, everybody? Any doubts on this slide? Okay. So now let's move on to the next. I'll just have a look at the queries. Give me a second. Process of writing. Sunita, it's the same thing. It depends on the marks. If it's a simple question asking State the basic steps of writing, you can simply state. Explain the basic steps of writing, then you have to write at least 1 or 2 lines for each of the steps. So there are 7 steps, you have to remember them in order. Yeah, just give me a second. It's called a process of writing. Yes, Manisha. Organizing, Shoaib, means you have 10 ideas in your mind. कौन सा idea पहले जाएगा, कौन सा idea बाद में जाएगा, कहाँ introduction होगा, कहाँ body होगा. That is organizing. Okay. No problem, Swastika. You can start reading. No worries, Divyanshi. Good that you have joined at least. आप आ गए. ठीक है. अब हम आते हैं next page पे. Sorry. Okay. Now, somebody was just asking me what is organizing, so I'll come to that. Organizing के बारे में मोहम्मद शोएब ने पूछा था. हाँ, Tahira, that's perfect. So if you have a 3-mark question, 3 to 4 points are important. Okay. Now comes various ways of organizing. Organizing में क्या होता है? There are various styles. आप list form में भी कर सकते हो, जैसे हमने note making में discuss किया था. Remember, वो drop down list होती है, या फिर एक non-linear list होती है, which is more like pictorial. This is the same here. या तो एक list form में होगा, या फिर एक half radial list होगा. Radial is just like radius. So वो circle element आ जाता है. आप कैसे भी organize कर सकते हो. आप एक tree बना सकते हो, आप एक mind map बना सकते हो, आप comma डाल के अपने thoughts लिख सकते हो. But these are some important ways which generally people use. That's why I'm introducing them to you. So you should know what is the list form in organizing. How does it help the writer? तो आप क्या लिखोगे? The list form is the easiest form of organizing content, because all the important points are noted down in the form of a list in a serial order. This also shows us the relevance of the points, because the most important ones will be placed on the top and the least important ones are placed below. List form is easy to understand. Even if we look at our own list after 10 weeks, we will not get confused because the order remains the same. Now coming to the half radial list. Half radial list में क्या होता है? It's more about subparts and subunits. So एक topic है studies. Studies में हम poems कर रहे हैं, society के बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं, mind के बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं. But poems कहाँ कर रहे हैं? English में कर रहे हैं. Society के बारे में कहाँ पढ़ रहे हैं? In a subject like sociology. Mind के बारे में कहाँ पढ़ रहे हैं? In a subject like psychology. So मैंने distinguish कर लिया कि मुझे एक chapter पढ़ना है which will be from psychology and which will be discussing about mind. Okay, so all this is clearly given in my radial list. Fine. जैसे circle का radius होता है ना, वैसे ये picture है. There are other ways also. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको यही style follow करना है. But what I expect is जब भी आप कुछ लिखने बैठते हैं, तो please make a rough plan. That is very, very helpful. अगर आप exam की बात कर रहे हैं तब भी, even if you're sitting at home, even if you're practicing, even if you're discussing it with your friends, a small tiny bit of planning work and rough work is mandatory. You can consider that. Okay. Any doubts till now? I'll just go through all the doubts if there's anything. Otherwise, we'll move on. I just now told you, no, Sakshi, you can be asked what is the importance of writing? What are the different styles of writing? Sorry, we'll come to that. What are the aspects of organizing? Why do we need to organize? So, आप ये वाला एक experiment बता सकते हो. We need to organize because our content will be in a certain good way. ठीक है? Chalo. Now this is very, very important. This is something which I will spend a little more time till the time we take a break. आराम से करेंगे. Now, styles of writing में क्या होता है? One is expository, which is explanation. Expository style is very common in Newspapers, it's very common in manuals and research papers. अब न्यूज़पेपर्स तो आप रोज देखते हो, इसलिए आपको पता है, क्योंकि बहुत चीजें डिटेल्ड एक्सप्लेनेशन मांगती हैं. Instruction manuals, because if I buy a new washing machine, I don't know how to install it. Even if it is installed, I don't know how to operate it. For that reason, I have to refer to the instruction manual. And if I refer to the instruction manual, everything is given to me in a order form. Next, press the plug. Next, press this button. Next, take out water. Next, put some surf. Next, let the machine roll. So हर चीज एक instructional way में बताई जाती है. That's why it's called a instruction manual. And the last expository is a research paper. Research paper is basically एक topic आपने ले लिया. You have a theory topic which you want to research on. Hence, you will definitely be explaining more and more. Explain करोगे तभी वो एक research paper के level तक पहुंचेगा. Right? So expository style of writing includes newspaper writing. It includes instruction manuals and it includes research papers also. There are other things it includes, but you don't have to worry about them right now. Okay? Fine. Next is persuasive. Persuasive is what convinces the reader. जैसे आप debate बोल रहे हो, आप declamation कह रहे हो. So you are trying to convince the audience, persuade the audience that no, जो मैंने कहा है point वही valid है, because I have a lot of examples. Okay? But writing के case में थोड़ा different हो जाता है. Persuasive is more about है वो convince करने के बारे में ही, but style में क्या होता है, a speech becomes persuasive. So somebody, some famous person standing on the podium and addressing a 500 large audience becomes a speech, becomes a way of influencing. Okay, you should read this very famous speech of Tilbury by Queen Elizabeth. You should read speeches by Nelson Mandela. These are speeches which have been inspirational, and you might not know, you might just get a passage, a reading comprehension passage from those speeches. Okay, so speech को देखने से अच्छा पढ़ा करो. Fine, that helps you in building concentration because the speeches are very, very long. And if you come across a difficult word, you can definitely note it down and we can discuss it. Right? Okay, now next is descriptive. What is descriptive? जहाँ पे details हैं. अब कई लोग पूछते हैं expository और descriptive में क्या difference है. Expository is basically all the technical styles of papers. आप देखो instruction manuals हो गए, research papers हो गया, इसमें story telling नहीं आएगा, इसमें fiction नहीं आता है, इसमें poetry writing नहीं आता है, वो सब descriptive में आता है. Okay? So if I say describe your neighbor, you will say it is a descriptive question. If I say tell me how you spent the last 10 days at home, it has to be a descriptive style. So descriptive style or persuasive style, the only difference is one is just giving details, one is convincing the reader that whatever I'm saying on a particular theory or on a particular topic is correct. Fine. Okay, and the last of all is narrative. As the name suggests, it narrates, it tells. What is a narration? जब आप किसी को story सुना रहे हो, जैसे movies में भी होती है ना movie narrations के लिए, where you are explained what the story is, you are explained what is going to happen, narrate किया जाता है. ठीक है? Flyers means pamphlets. I just now told you, Sakshi, they can ask you what are the different styles of writing, give examples, that is one. What is the importance of writing? Give us one. What are the 4 components of writing? Give us all the 4. These are the questions which will be asked. Okay. Now, narrative writing, remember, always uses first person. So I am the narrator. I visited the Golden Temple. I am going to tell you about it. Got it? So it's very important that narrative writing is identified on the basis of the I, which is either there or missing. Yes, we can read the speech of Swami Vivekananda. Yes, Raj, you can. Okay. Now, narration is very simple. Narration is more about memoirs and stories, novels and poems, where the author himself has experienced something and he's telling this to you. So that is also possible. Stories में तो narration होता ही है. Memoirs are like the books and the material which you have kept, which is acting as memorable to you. They are called memoirs. Okay, you write something after the death of somebody, that also becomes a memoir. Okay, clear till now? I think all questions have been answered till now. Thank you, Om, for saying it's good. Harshita, there's nothing in the spike model. There's nothing in the radial list. It's just a depiction way. It's just a style of depiction that you can make a radial list also if required. Okay? Apurva, difference between poems and what? Fine, you can type and then I'll see. Okay, so styles of writing, you can have a question, then aspects of organizing, you can have a question. And of course, how to start writing, what are the basic steps of writing, please mention them all. That can be a question as well. ठीक है? Clear है यहाँ तक? Objective in nature means it is very, very practical. It's a straightforward question. You don't have other involvements. Hence, it is called an objective in nature kind of a question. Difference between poem and narrative. Narrative is more about stories. It can be in the form of a poem, but narrative is a style. Poem is a genre. You have written a romantic poem, you have written a brave poem, you have written an abstract poem. Poem is just a type of writing. Style of writing is the narrative style. Okay. Yes, Swastika, narrative can be negative or imagination. It has to be imagination based if there is no narrative, obviously. Yes, Sakshi, definitely will be asked. What samples? Samples are pamphlets and flyers only, no, Sunita? That's what you're... Travelogue is nothing but when you travel, you're writing about your travel. So a description which is telling you about your travel and you yourself are doing it, that becomes a narrative travelogue. If somebody else is doing it on your behalf, then you simply say it's a travelogue. Okay. Now, after the break, we'll start with a descriptive text. I'll show you an expository text and a narrative text, and this will be your classwork reading. Any doubts in the styles, which can be a question? What are the different styles of writing? Any doubts in the 4 components of writing? Genre is also said, genre is also said. So G-E-N-R-E is basically genre or genre. Okay, both are allowed. Song is a narrative. Sometimes when you talk about yourself, narration always involves first person. So if somebody is singing a song and explaining how he or she is feeling, it becomes a narrative song. Okay. Okay. Autobiography is narrative. Biography need not be narrative. So Bittu, what happens is when you are writing your story yourself, you are only writing, expressing what happened to you, and you are a big achiever and you are explaining your achievements, you are explaining your hardships, you are basically explaining your life, then it is an autobiography because you have written it. But when somebody else is writing about you, either when you are alive or when you are dead, that is called a biography. Okay. Bio specifically means life. Graphy means writings. So writings on life is what biography actually means. And auto means automatic, self mode. So if it's an autobiography, somebody else has written about your life just because he was fascinated and he could sell books maybe. Okay. How many of you, it's a general question, how many of you would like to have an autobiography, have a biography of yours? Poetry and poem same ही होते हैं. Yes, how many of you would like to have a life where you have all the luxuries? And how many of you would like to have a life where you are like in the middle, like little bit of, I won't say little bit of nothing, but yeah, you are in a very good, higher than average position. Okay, I've got some answers also. So is this part clear? Now, if you talk about an autobiography or a biography, it's a narrative style. If you talk about poetry and travelogues, it's descriptive style. If you talk about persuasive writing, it's more about debates, it's more about speech. Advertisement is a persuasive writing because the company is forcing you to buy. Please buy Lay's chips. Please buy Dairy Milk chocolate. Please buy Kurkure. Please buy yogurt. So whenever you are convincing people to buy, it becomes a persuasive style of writing. And last but not the least, the expository style, which is more about orders and explanation. It tells you how to operate a certain device. It tells you when to clean it, when to stop it, how to press the buttons. All those come under instruction manuals. Okay. Very good, Tahira. So Tahira is saying she would like to have a biography or an autobiography about her CA journey. Very good. And I would love to read it also. Yes, Pranita, higher grade, financial freedom, okay. Persuasive writing is nothing but you are actually forcing or convincing the reader or the samne wala person to agree to you. That is persuasive writing. आप उनको समझा रहे हो that what you are telling is very important and they should listen to it and they should follow it because you know that subject very well. So you're in a way persuading them. Fine. Okay. Clear? Any doubts on this slide? So you should remember the styles of writing. You should know them by name. You should be able to give an example on them. If you don't do this, then you are definitely not understanding the topic. After the break comes, I'll show you some small extracts and I'll ask you to identify how exactly are you able to identify with this particular piece of writing. Is it descriptive? Is it persuasive? Is it one of these? Is it something different? That we're going to discuss after the break. Okay. Okay, now people have started like personal comments about stories of becoming a CA and life of a CA. Yes, argument is a two-way process. Yes, very good, Gautam. Study material is an expository style of writing. That's the best example you can think of because it is explaining things. So when you are in a classroom, when you are reading a study material book, they are all expository styles of writing. Okay. So next we'll start with this descriptive text. I'll share this to you. But very importantly, remember, styles of writing differ according to the context and the need. तो ऐसा नहीं है आप हमेशा narrative लिख लोगे और आप हमेशा expository लिख लोगे. It depends on what is the purpose of writing. Okay, so we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll resume our session at 12 o'clock. Please be here, listen to what I'm saying. There are a lot of things to practice. Towards the end of the class, I left a lot of topics to be practiced right now. So I'm giving you my best attempt so that you can see the kind of content. Remember, last class also we were practicing by reading the notes. So if you read this different variety, you will actually feel that, what is that I haven't read? What is that where I have to focus more? And you will see better marks coming. Okay. So on that note, let's take a break for 10 minutes. I'll see you at 12 o'clock. Please be back. Thank you. Okay, students, welcome back after a quick break. I hope it was refreshing. I hope everything now, till now, done is clear. If you have queries, you can put them in the chat box. Please make sure you are listening to the lectures carefully. Please make sure you are understanding every bit of it. The subject is very interesting. There is nothing to mug up. Be there with us. Study the material, listen to the lectures, be aware about your happenings around, and you will be a wonderful CA. Okay. So on that positive note, let's continue. I've got some queries. So before I continue with my slide, let me just take these. Poem is under narrative because sometimes, Apurva, what happens is the narrator is talking about his own experiences. So it can be a form of narration, not necessarily always, but possibility hai. Okay? That's what, that's why I put it under narration. Okay. No, Mohini, this is not the first class. What type of writing is conversation like the enemy chapter? Conversation is basically dialogues. Okay, so when you're having a dialogue exchange between 2 to 3 characters, like you said, the enemy, then it's not narration, it's a drama. जिग्नेश नोट्स आप खुद भी लिख सकते हो एंड जो स्टडी मटेरियल है उसमें सारे नोट्स ही हैं. हाँ, पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस कैन बी बायोग्राफी. यस अंजलि. Okay, fine. If there is a writing for help to a child suffering from diseases, Arshita, is this question relevant to our CA subject? First of all, I don't know why you are asking this, and even if it is relevant, then you have to explain it, because if it is not relevant to the CA paper, then please, let's keep the extra questions for the end. Yeah, that will be a big request. Thank you so much. Okay. Now let's move on. Now, what's next is very important. When we write, okay, I'm asking you a general question. When you all are writing, suppose I ask you that, today's topic is the weather. Okay, so one topic is the weather today. Second topic is your visit to a particular destination, maybe a pilgrimage, maybe a mountain, maybe a valley, maybe the backwaters of Kerala. So when you have to write about a visit, your style of writing should be different. When you have to write about how you were feeling a day before exam, your style of writing should be different. When you have to write about, let's say, the introduction, the banning of the 2000 rupee notes, your opinion on that, your style should be different. When you are talking about the upcoming elections soon in India, then you have to write about it in a different way. So every topic is under an umbrella topic, it's under an umbrella category, and they require different styles of writing. Okay, so when you get a topic to write, if it's an article or if it's a debate, if it's meant for persuasion, if it's just meant to inform people, if it's meant to preach, like, the gurus, the Mahatmas, the yogis, they preach. What do they preach? They're giving you the good gyan of life. They're giving you the philosophy of life. And every one of them will have a different style of preaching. Got it? So every style is not incorrect or correct. You have to adapt to your own style. So if I give you a topic, let's describe your visit to the Red Fort in Delhi. Let's describe your visit to the Charminar in Hyderabad. Let's describe how you felt when you first time went to a hill station. Let's describe how you felt when you first time sat in an aeroplane. Every description needs a certain style of writing. And for that style, you should have good knowledge of vocabulary, good knowledge of phrasal verbs, good knowledge of idioms and proverbs, and various good expressions of the English language. Okay? ये चीज हर लैंग्वेज के लिए ट्रू है. अगर आप तेलुगु में लिख रहे हो या तमिल में लिख रहे हो या संस्कृत में लिख रहे हो, it is true for everything. But right now my discussion is English, so I am focusing on English only. Okay? No, biography writing, Prutha, is not considered to be persuasive because it's completely factual. उसमें कोई opinions नहीं होते हैं. So जहाँ पे मैं अगर महात्मा गांधी जी पे बायोग्राफी लिखना चाहती हूँ, या मैं एलोन मस्क पे बायोग्राफी लिखना चाहती हूँ, या मैं let's say फिडेल कैस्ट्रो पे बायोग्राफी लिखना चाहती हूँ, या मैं लियोनेल मेसी पे बायोग्राफी लिखना चाहती हूँ, I will just write what his or her life has been like by asking them questions. That doesn't mean I'm trying to convince anybody or persuade anybody. Hence, biography writing is not part of persuasive writing. Okay? Sure, you got it? Okay, now what's the next query? Okay, it's the same from Prutha. Okay, so I'll share my screen and we'll continue. Fine, screen is visible. Everybody can see. Narration, Komalpreet, is first-hand information about something, your visit, your experience, you did something new, you went to a particular place, that is narration. If somebody asks you about something, then it is your opinion. That comes under opinion writing, which is a subset of persuasive or descriptive writing. Okay. Amit, we are talking about styles of writing. You have started something which we do on stage. It's two different things. Got it? So don't get confused. Amit is asking me stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy is vocal. It's a speech expression. I am talking only of writing. So let's limit ourselves to the writing part of it. ठीक है. Okay. That is a different topic, Krishnandan. Sanskrit has a lot of value because a lot of scripts and a lot of language have originated from Sanskrit language. Okay. So now this is a practice exercise. I'm giving you an example of a descriptive writing. What is descriptive writing? आप please पढ़िए, दोनों texts को पढ़िए. First wala is a text about Holi and second wala is I'm not telling you what it is. So this is a good example of a descriptive writing text. Take 2 minutes, finish this reading and then we'll discuss. Yes, Dolly. Yes, Yamini, correct. Thanks, Ritu. Om Akshata, Yamini. Yes, speech comes under writing. Dhruv, I think I've explained it all. For the last 20 minutes, I'm explaining what is description. So, abhi agar aap pooch rahe ho, to I can assume ki you were not listening earlier. Okay, so jab lecture khatam ho jayega and you have good enough time, just re-listen to the lecture because if I start repeating the same topic again, I won't be able to finish it. Okay. No, Manisha, there is not much of a difference. Poetry and poems can come under narration and description both ways. I've just written them in both categories to let you know that both are possible. Okay? Poetry and poem mean the same. Okay, Deepika, that was good reading. Fast you have finished. Akriti, what about expository? आपने expository लिखा है. Also, you know, when you start reading, it's a small personal advice. Also take care of time. Because ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that you're taking 20 minutes to read a small passage. You're taking your own sweet 30 minutes to read because जब आप exam attempt करते हो, exam में there is a time limit and you have to complete the whole paper. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपने reading comprehension से start किया and आप वहीं पे block हो गए. That itself is taking so much time that you're unable to reach the last question, which involves a lot of writing. फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द पेपर में थोड़ा ऑब्जेक्टिव भी होगा, आपको लगेगा जल्दी जल्दी हो रहा है, एक्टिव पैसिव वॉइस होता है, वोकैबुलरी होता है, सिनोनिम्स एंटोनिम्स होंगे, प्रोवर्ब्स इडियम्स होंगे, बट लेटर पार्ट ऑफ द पेपर इज ऑल वेरी डिस्क्रिप्टिव, जहाँ पे आपको मेल लिखनी होगी, रिज्यूमे लिखना होगा, रिपोर्ट लिखनी होगी, आर्टिकल लिखना होगा, प्रेसी लिखना होगा. तो आपका टाइम ऐसे मैनेज होना चाहिए कि रीडिंग वाले सेक्शन को मैं जल्दी से जल्दी फिनिश करूं, because after reading this I can only answer some certain set of questions and once I finish this I'll quickly do the objective and I'll save time for the writing. Some people do the writing first. उसमें क्या होता है, it's my experience, there is nothing right or wrong. मैं अपने suggestion के point of view से आपको बता रही हूँ कि अगर आप writing पहले करते हो ना तो बहुत ज्यादा time writing में निकल जाता है. That's a difficulty to face, and that's a challenge towards the end of the exam, because exam देने के time आपके पास last में at least 10 minutes होने चाहिए to go through everything. Okay. Fine. Have all of you read it? 2 examples of descriptive texts. Okay, done. Very good. Mansi, done. Yes, Anshika, close to that. It's not explanatory, it's description. Done. Okay. Abhishek, let's see. I'll tell you later what the second topic is about. Actually, Utkarsh, both are descriptive texts. So don't try to tell me. I'm seeing many of you are trying to attempt that whether the first is this or the second is this. Both are descriptive texts. The title is given on the slide itself. Okay. Amit, I just now told you both are descriptive. आप लोग slide क्यों नहीं देख रहे हो? देखो slide में ऊपर ऊपर बड़ा बड़ा bold में लिखा है descriptive texts. Okay. Now, the first one is talking about Holi, that you all have guessed. It's a description about the festival, how exactly Holi is and what exactly Holi's, how it is celebrated. The second says his post was in a solitary and a dismal place as I ever saw. On either side, a dripping wet wall of jagged stone, excluding all view. At one end of the loft corridor of the stone was a gloomy. So is it not describing a place? It's describing a positioning or a location of a particular person. जैसे army का person है, उसकी कहीं location है, वो describe किया जा रहा है. Okay? So basically, a posting as in जैसे army लोगों की posting होती है ना, that's what the narrator is describing about somebody else. Got it? So the second is also a detailed description and the first is also a detailed description. If somebody doesn't know about the festival, then they can read this and get a fair idea about how Holi is celebrated and what the festival is about. Similarly, अगर आप किसी एक पर्सन की लोकेशन डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हो, किसी का घर डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हो, किसी का ऑफिस रूम डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हो, so you will use a lot of adjectives like, you know, there was a black tunnel, the entrance was gloomy, how was the atmosphere, it was a very depressing atmosphere, architecture कैसा था. So both are perfect examples of descriptive writing. Okay, got it everybody? Yes, Harshita. Language is Hindi option. Prutha, it's not about a picture. It's about a real location where a person is placed and this narrator is describing it. Okay? Fine. Sorry for this change. Really sorry. Okay. Clear है everybody? So description समझ आया? So जब आप किसी चीज को describe कर रहे हो, आपको ध्यान में रखना है, you can use as many adjectives as possible. You can use as many phrases to describe the location. You can use as many words to describe the atmosphere, the weather. जितना ज्यादा detailed description होगा, उतना ज्यादा अच्छा माना जाता है. ठीक है? Okay. Now, this is an example of an expository text. Expository text में क्या होता है? Explain कर रहे हैं, एक concept explain कर रहे हैं. So, अगर आज मैं आपको बोलूं कि I am going to explain what is Pythagoras theorem, so that is not description. मैं describe नहीं कर रही हूँ, because describe आप किसी चीज को करते हो जो कोई event है. आई विल डिस्क्राइब द आईपीएल मैच, द फाइनल आईपीएल मैच, वो डिस्क्रिप्शन हो जाएगा, बट एक्सप्लेन किसी कॉन्सेप्ट को करते हैं, किसी टॉपिक को करते हैं. सो व्हाट एम आई एक्सप्लेनिंग? आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग यू व्हाट इज एन एक्सपोजिटरी टेक्स्ट. ठीक है. सो एक्सप्लेनेशन और डिस्क्रिप्शन का डिफरेंस बहुत थिन होता है, सो डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड. नाउ रीड these 4-5 lines of expository text, and as the title and as the question says, try to give this passage a suitable title. This is one of the standard questions which come in the reading comprehension. You will have 4 options. Which one of the following is the best suitable title for the given passage? Okay, so quickly read it and also time yourself. अगर हो सकता है ना, आप लोग प्लीज, अमित, रितु, हर्षिता, अंजलि, यामिनी, आकृति, सभी लोग जो क्लास में हैं, प्लीज टाइम भी देखो कि आप ये 5 सेंटेंसेस पढ़ने में कितना टाइम लगा रहे हैं. Okay, I'm waiting for you. Okay, done reading. 1 minute. Okay, very good. That's a good time. अपूर्वा, सिर्फ बुल्स है या बुल्स के बारे में कुछ एक्स्ट्रा है? See that. I'm basically telling you, if it is only about bulls, then I can obviously write bulls. But is only bulls going to be a good heading? सिर्फ बुल्स लिखेंगे तो कोई पढ़ना चाहेगा आपका टेक्स्ट? नहीं. बट उसमें इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन बताई गई है कि बुल्स को कौन सा कलर दिखता है, कौन सा नहीं दिखता है, दिखता भी है कि नहीं दिखता है. Try to use that information in the title. The myth busted, yes, that's a good option. Yes, I agree. The red color in bulls, ठीक है. Myths about bulls, okay, Komalpreet, agreed, I can take that. Offensive color तो नहीं है पाल, मतलब this is just about bulls, तो why is it offensive? Seeing red, प्रतिमा, जैसे आपने लिखा है ना, seeing red, myth or a fact, but कौन देख रहा है red? वो भी तो आना चाहिए ना टेक्स्ट के कैप्शन में. Is it about humans? Is it about dogs? Is it about insects? Or is it about bulls? The myth behind the cattle. It's not all cattle. गर्व सबसे पहले तो ये भी एक बहुत important बात है. The blind bulls. Okay, so is this a specific category where you're saying the blind bulls? इसका मतलब there are other bulls which are not blind also. ऐसा भी हो सकता है. So टॉपिक को ना हमेशा, सॉरी, कैप्शन को ना हमेशा ध्यान में ऐसा रखते हैं कि जब मैं कोई चीज टाइटल में लिख रही हूँ, आई हैव टू बी वेरी श्योर कि इट इज कवरिंग ऑल द इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द पैसेज. ठीक है. टाइटल छोटा होना चाहिए, टाइटल टू द पॉइंट होना चाहिए, एंड टाइटल बहुत क्रिस्प होना चाहिए. 5 सेंटेंसेस की हेडिंग, 5 सेंटेंसेस का टाइटल नहीं चलेगा. गॉट इट? Red color, myths and bulls. The myth of the red color and the bulls. The myth of the bulls and red color. ऐसा कुछ लिखो. Do bulls see red? Are bulls blind? Why do bulls get charged by seeing red? You know, something about that. The myth of the red color associated with bulls. Scientific facts about myths. That's interesting, Anshika. Bulls knowledge. यहाँ पे बुल की नॉलेज कहाँ डिस्कस हो रही है? ठीक है, good. So I'm happy with the kind of titles you are attempting. Yes, Son Priyadarshan, I can see all the answers, just that I'm not reading them all, but I can see. Don't worry. ठीक है. So now the next thing is, आपको ये समझ आ गया कि ये bulls and red color के बारे में है. I think जिया, चेतना and यश, आकृति, काफी सबने बच्चों ने ट्राई किया है. So that's good. Always attempt whatever question is given. उससे पता चलेगा where do you exactly stand when it comes to reading such texts and answering questions. Okay. चलो next slide पे आते हैं. This is another example of expository text. Please ध्यान में रखिए, these are all texts which are explaining something. They are explaining a concept. If I stand and explain you the concept of quadratic equations, or if I stand and tell you how to calculate your income, or how to file your income tax returns, what are the formulas involved, that's explanation. If I stand and tell you how does photosynthesis happen, that's explanation. So explanation or description, there is a big difference. Sometimes people find it difficult because they feel there's a very thin difference. कहीं आपको ऐसा लगेगा explain हो रहा है, but describe भी कर रहा है. So there might be an overlap sometimes. Don't worry. ऐसा questions में नहीं पूछा जाता है कि identify करो कि expository text है या descriptive text है. But style of writing आपको जरूर पता होना चाहिए. Okay. Got it, everybody? Okay. So please finish this expository text also. And if you can give a title, then please help me. Chetna, if you say air is here, ये कैसा topic हुआ? Will you really want to read? अगर मैं ऐसा कोई passage आपको देती हूँ कि air is here, will you want to read it? नहीं ना? It's not convincing. आपका title ऐसा होना चाहिए कि सामने वाले को देख के ही लगे, oh my God, what is this? ये तो मुझे पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. वैसी वाली फीलिंग आती है आपके अंदर जब आपका टाइटल अच्छा होता है. ओके ओके, गुड जिया. स्वरूप हैज डन. ठीक है सोवन. कॉन्स्पिरेसी नहीं बोलेंगे. कॉन्स्पिरेसी तो बहुत ज्यादा ही हाई लेवल हो जाती है, एज इफ यू नो यू डूइंग अ सीक्रेट मिशन एंड देयर इज अ कॉन्स्पिरेसी हैपनिंग. वैसा तो नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ पे डेफिनेटली. Air and its components आप बोल सकते हो. That's perfect. Atmospheric contents is okay. Composition of atmosphere, composition of air, ठीक है, ये सब चलेगा. All this is fine. Only atmosphere से better हो सकता है answer. So please make sure आप atmosphere से हट के कुछ लिख रहे हैं. Because it's talking about the components, right? It says air is present everywhere. And it's then telling you it's the thick envelope, then it's telling you about the constituents, the percentages. So what is air? Okay, that can be a simple question. What is air? 1 minute, ठीक है. Okay, Harshita. Air and atmosphere are friends. No, that's not a good topic because this is a science-based topic. We are not doing poetry here. जब poetic element include करना होता है ना, तब आप ये सब बोलते हो, air and atmosphere, friendship and relation. ये सब scientific based topics में नहीं बोला जाता है. Yes, Yash, that's a very good answer. So Yash has given a very, it's kind of funny also. Let's find what's inside air. ऐसा अगर topic होगा, caption होगा, everybody will read it. Everybody will want to see, okay, let's see what's inside air, because you can't catch air, you can't trap air, you can't eat air, you can't drink air, but you still want to know what's inside air. Okay? Layers of atmosphere. Am I talking about the layers of atmosphere, Akriti, kahin pe bhi? Do you have that layer of stratosphere, troposphere? वो वाला discussion तो नहीं है ना? So layers तो word आना ही नहीं चाहिए. That's why I'm discussing this, because आप लोग ना trajectory पे चले जाते हो. यहाँ पे layers का discussion नहीं हो रहा है. यहाँ पे constituents of air का discussion हो रहा है. Please get me right. Okay, air is a mixture of gases. आप बोल सकते हो. Objectives of atmospheric pressure. ये कहाँ से आ गया सचिन? ये तो बिल्कुल भी रेलेवेंट नहीं है. आराम से पढ़ो. See, this is the simplest you can get. Generally, when you get a reading comprehension text, it will be at least 100, 150 words, 200 words, 250 words. ये तो hardly 35, 40 words है. बहुत छोटा है because आधे तो उसमें percentage है. Please see my message, Sakshi. Okay. Sakshi reads inside air magic. Isn't it missing with prepositions and articles? There is magic inside air. Agar aap bologe, then I can still accept it. But what's the magic? I'm just talking about the science-based concept. Okay. So, well, thanks for all the attempts. What I want to make clear is expository and descriptive का आपको difference समझ आ गया. Title के लिए आपको थोड़ा और work करना है. So, for every article or every passage you are reading, even if the question is not asking you, please give it a title. आप अपने end से practice के लिए एक title जरूर दीजिए. Okay? I'm trying to make you familiar with all the styles so that आपको end में ये ना लगे कि मैंने ऐसा style देखा नहीं. Right? Okay. Now this is a narrative text because it's a poem where the poet is speaking. The poet is expressing his desire. The poet is expressing his wish. If things were different, how would the world be? It's a very funny poem by one of the most famous authors and writers of children's book, Ruskin Bond. So please read it interestingly, read it with a lot of interest and fun. You will enjoy reading the poem. This is an example where the poem is being spoken by the poet in a narrative form because he's saying, agar aisa hota, so it's his wish which is coming out. Zaruri nahi hai, I wala element sab jagah aana chahiye. It's like, I went there, I did this, I drank water, I ate food. That is definitely narrative. But अगर मेरी कोई desire या मेरा कोई thought बाहर आ रहा है, then it can be narrative. Okay? So I'll just stay quiet for a minute. You guys can read this narrative text. It's a very funny poem. So I would request everybody to have a look. Akriti, ठीक है. Earth's atmosphere. Let's know what we breathe. That's a good one, Sahana. Traceable gases of air. Okay, Pranit. Air around us. Sneha, what is in the air that is everywhere? Okay, that's quite poetic. Thanks, Khushi. Okay, Om has also read it. Read it with understanding. ठीक है, जल्दी मत करो, आराम से पढ़ो. Okay, Pratima, Dishika, good. Anjali says she likes the poem. Yes, it's quite a funny poem. Post as in post and pillars. It's a metaphorical use. They were lost in the places where they are staying. Okay, sort of. That's what it means. Sahana, you need to hurry up a little bit. 1.5 minutes is a little too much for this poem. Why did you not understand bit 2? Okay, Yukta, our world, theek hai. Fine. So this is a good example about a narrative text. Aapko explanation ki zarurat nahi hai. You don't have to worry about what each line means. I'm just showing you the different texts which can be available to you. And at some point of time, you should be able to identify what text it is. Okay? Manisha, right now I can't because the PPT already has a lot of content, because mostly my aim was to show whatever I thought was very relevant, and you don't find narrative poems because everybody in the first place was asking poems कैसे narrative होंगी, इसीलिए मैं आपको दिखा रही हूँ कि poems ऐसे narrative हो सकती हैं. Okay, 7th line. If pebbles could sing, pebbles is stones, normal stones which you find on the road. So agar patthar ga sakte, that's what pebbles could sing means. Yukta. Smile inside lips. What kind of a title is this, Amit? Sorry, this is just not relevant. You will not get marks for this kind of a title. Yes, Prani, that is, I agree. Fictional and non-fictional. Fiction is just what is in your mind, which is created, which is not real. Non-fictional is something which is real. So if I write an autobiography, it becomes a non-fiction text. But if I'm writing a story where there is a hero, a heroine, a plot, a climax, a mystery, a horror, that is a fictional text. Okay, Harshita? Great. Let's continue our reading. I hope all of you are understanding and you're not getting bored, because today I have a lot of stuff to show to you for reading. So I can also realize that you are reading some stuff. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि मैं आपको slide पे दिखा रही हूँ and you guys are missing it. Okay? 4th and 5th line. Acha, 1, 2, 3, 4. If tigers could dine on biscuits and wine, agar tigers खा सकते क्या biscuits and wine? Dine is basically have food, and instead of acting as carnivores and eating flesh, if tigers could eat only biscuits and wine. Okay? Yeah, what if is a good title. Fine, let's move on. The next part. Okay, now this is an editorial blog published in Times of India by a famous writer, Bachi Karkaria. You can read it. You can see how blogs are written, specifically editorials. Usually a newspaper has an editorial page, and towards the left side, you have 3 editorials. All national dailies will have 3 editorials by the number. You cannot have 4, you cannot have 2, and they're always put on the editorial page. So this is a style of writing which is called editorial writing, where it's about a certain issue which is trending these days, about a topic which is so much in discussion in the society, and also very importantly, the author is telling her or his opinion. So editorials में याद रखिए, जो टॉपिक एक बहुत करंट टॉपिक होता है, जो जिसे हम कहते हैं हॉट टॉपिक होता है, उसके बारे में डिस्कशन करते हैं, बट द एडिटर इज राइटिंग हिज और हर ओपिनियन ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. ठीक है? हाँ, ऑल्टरनेट वर्ल्ड, द मेटा यूनिवर्स, कुछ भी बोल सकते हो, मेटावर्स एक्सेट्रा, द अपसाइड डाउन वर्ल्ड, इमेजिनेटरी लाइफ, लाइफ कुड बी फन इफ, ऐसे छोड़ सकते हो, डॉट डॉट डाल सकते हो, व्हाट इफ दिस हैपेंड, ऐसे भी छोड़ सकते हो. सो various titles. Okay, now read this please quickly. I'm glad everybody is reading. I really like it when you are aware about what to do, where to do, how much time to invest, and you actually sit and read. I really appreciate that. Times of India, Vivek. TOI is Times of India. 1 minute, 20 seconds. Okay. Good. ठीक है, 1 minute is kind of okay. Good, Deepika. Good, Jia. Most of you have finished. Yes, I understand, Pranit. It's very difficult, no, because I can't hear you guys. I just have, it's just like a one-sided talk, but through your messages, I'm trying to make it as interactive as possible. Huh, that I know, Saurav. It's a little difficult because editorials are done by like really, really great writers of the newspaper. You know, that's why that's when you become an editorial writer, when you have a strong hand over writing. So you can, once you are done with this class, you all can have a look at what is the Holy Grail, who are the knights. This is a famous story about King Arthur and his knights, and they're in search of a Holy Grail. Holy Grail is basically a bowl, a more pot kind of a thing which has a strong liquid, a potion or a concoction. What interesting story hai. It's a myth whether there was really a King Arthur or not, and unke adventure ki stories hai. And of course, you have the Hindu mythology added with Vishnu the preserver, Shiva the destroyer, and Brahma the creator. And in the end, we have 3+2 other totems of the pandemic. So थोड़ा vocabulary difficult है, but you should see the word plays, how exactly Baji Karkaria plays with the words, किस context को किस interesting word के साथ join किया गया है. And I really look forward to all of you doing this. ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ कुछ लोग कर सकते हैं, आप लोग भी इस स्टाइल से लिख सकते हो. It's just that अगर आपकी रीडिंग अच्छी है, अगर आपकी vocabulary strong है, this style can be, you can come out with this style. Okay. O2 is oxygen level, Om. Power of God, ठीक है. You can definitely write Khushi, ऐसा कुछ problem नहीं है. It's just that your time and your profession should require you to write. क्या होता है, there are people who write very often. So when you're writing frequently, your style improves. But अगर आप once in a while writer हैं, you will just write only what you've read in your early days. Okay. Totem, somebody is asking. Totem is nothing but an object or an animal which is believed by a particular society to have a spiritual significance, and then it is taken as an emblem. जैसे कोई tree है, so एक community है जो उस tree को अपना emblem बना के worship करती है. It can be some goddess, it can be some icon, it can be some symbol, it can be some animal. That is called a totem. Okay. जैसे in Africa you have animals like zebras, lions, monkeys, even some body parts of animals, they are considered to be totems by a certain tribal community. ठीक है? Okay. Fine, let's move forward. What do I have next? Okay, have a look at this advertisement. Now an advertisement becomes a persuasive style of writing. Why? Because it's forcing you to buy कि मेरा product तो सबसे अच्छा है, आपको खरीदना ही पड़ेगा. इसमें toxic content नहीं है, इसमें artificial flavors नहीं है, इसमें सारे natural flavors हैं, इसका aroma बहुत अच्छा है, इसका price बहुत अच्छा है, we have made it in hygienic conditions. That's persuading the customer कि ले लो, buy कर लो, my product is very good. So any form of advertisement is basically a form of persuasive style of writing. Writing कम होती है, picture depiction ज़्यादा होता है. So you can see these interesting sourdough flavor का bread gloves. And that's okay, Khushi, it takes time. Okay, all of you got it? Why this is a persuasive style? So it's telling you about the gloves available in 2 sizes and it's available in different flavors. Jaise aap, when you go to a restaurant like Subway, they ask you the choice of bread. So it shows you the choice of bread. Then there's a star which says there's a new sourdough flavor. And then it's just adding on to the beauty when the person in the ad, the picture in the ad is showing you that you're wearing the gloves and you're eating them also. It's like edible hands ho gaya ye. right? It's quite funny here, and this is persuasive. I hope you all liked the advertisement. I really searched hard to find the advertisement. ठीक है. The next is a flyer. Now, flyer क्या होता है? Flyer is just like a pamphlet. तो अगर कोई न्यू लाइब्रेरी लॉन्च हुई है, कोई नया पार्लर लॉन्च हुआ है, कोई नया स्टडी सेंटर लॉन्च हुआ है, that is about telling people. So a pamphlet or a flyer is a piece of paper which is informing people कि ये इस locality में start हुआ है. It can be a restaurant, it can be a coaching institute, it can be a dental clinic, it can be a hospital. So that is a flyer, which is simply a piece of paper which tells you everything about that particular place which has recently opened. That is one. Second, ये camps के, workshops के, seminars के flyers होते हैं. So this one is a flyer of a hockey camp. उसमें सारे camp की फिर details होती हैं. So flyers, the name flyer comes from the fact that these pamphlet style of papers are just flying everywhere from house to house, from person to person. Sometimes you must have seen आपके newspapers में इतने सारे flyers आते हैं. New coaching institute, new tuition centers, some music school has opened, some dance school has opened, some academy has opened. Those are all considered flyers. Okay. Fine. So a flyer is also a means of persuasive text, because flyer को देख के मुझे लग रहा है wow, इसमें तो fees भी कम है, इसमें सिर्फ 5 बच्चे हैं एक ग्रुप में, and the location is also very feasible from my place. So it's trying to convince me to get myself enrolled to join that particular academy or institute. Hence flyer को ऐसा बोला जाता है. Krishnandan, flyer is nothing but जो advertisements आपके पेपर में आती है ना, printed form of advertisements. जब कोई नया सलोन इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, या कोई बैंक की ओपनिंग है, या कहीं पे रिसेंटली फुटबॉल एकेडमी खुली है, तो उस चीज को आप ऑडियंस तक कैसे लेके आते हो? बाय अ पीस ऑफ पेपर which earlier was called a pamphlet. Now it has been started, it's now started to be called as a flyer. ठीक है? Most welcome, Satya. Yes, Yash. So they end up flying here and there like an aeroplane. So advertisements जो मैंने आपको पहले दिखाई थी, this is an advertisement and this is a flyer. That's the difference. Advertisements are mostly for products, okay? Not for coaching institutes, not for offices, not for geographical locations. Advertisements are mostly for products. You might be selling a bottle, you might be selling a packet of chips, you might be selling a new brand. So it's mostly about that, okay? Pamphlet and flyers, I just now told you, flyer is a new concept. We mostly call all pamphlets flyers now. That's a new jargon. Okay. Now, this is what I wanted you to think. Why is a flyer different from an advertisement? An advertisement is promoting a product like a packet of chips, like a packet of crayons, like some vegetable, like some electronic device. Whereas a flyer is giving you information about a certain place which has opened in the nearby neighborhood. Maybe we have a sports academy coming up in my neighborhood, so I'll send a flyer in my society that this sports complex has opened, you can visit, and these are the timings. That's a flyer. Okay. On the other hand, if I make an advertisement with a chips packet and I say this is the healthiest of chips, this is made of millets, this is made of oats, this does not have oil, that becomes an advertisement. Got it? Yes, Sachin, I'll do that. Thank you, Khushi. Job requirements is an advertisement, not a flyer. Yes, Anshika. Okay. So finally, these are some practice questions which you can have a look at, which you can write. For example, write a short summary of a book you recently read. So just take up any book and try to write. Summary is mostly 1/4 of the main book, remember that. Then you can see your experience of the live virtual classes of ICI. So that's going to be a narrative. 7th wala describe bol raha hai. So it will be a descriptive narrative. Okay. Sixth wala, what do you think about the surge in the COVID cases? Could the second wave be avoided? That becomes opinion writing, because jo aap bol rahe ho, that's your opinion. What you feel about the topic. Do you feel it could have been avoided? Do you feel we all did our best? The government did the best. The country did its best. So your opinion. Fifth, straight away says express your opinion. Usme to kuch doubt hi nahi hai. First one straight away says make an advertisement for a new juice which your company has launched. And description writing is the third one. जब आप किसी temple में गए हो, talk about your visit to Vaishno Devi, talk about your visit to Shirdi temple, talk about your visit to Tirupati temple, whatever. That's a visit. And the fourth one is report. So a report will always be factual. So that comes under factual writing. Because report ke case mein, we can never add emotions. We can never add extra information from our side as long as it has not been proven and tested. So a report based on the survey will only be dependent on facts and figures. There is no scope and no room for emotions and opinions in report writing. Got it, everybody? Pop culture, Priyanka, is where you have this pop music in vogue. Everybody wants to listen to fast rock, jazz music. That is pop culture. A summary of the book, Tahira, is just the story crux. Book review is you actually get into the details of the theme, the plot, the poetic devices used, the discussion on the climax, the setting, the characters. So when you diversify or you break down the book content into these categories, it becomes a book review. If you simply summarize the whole story in a paragraph, it's a normal summary. Okay, it's a very good question, Tahira, which you have asked. You can make an advertisement, you can draw a box, you can make a juice box, you can tell me the price, you can make a brand, you can show the flavors, you can tell the company exists since 1989. That's an advertisement. जैसे आपने bread का देखा था, जैसे आप किसी भी normal product का advertisement paper पे या television पे देखते हो. Deepika, sale what? Selling what is an advertisement of flyer? You have to be specific. Yes, Harshita, correct. Harshita, flyer is basically a piece of paper which is giving you information about a newly launched place, like a shop, like an institute, like a supermarket. And it is also giving you information about a seminar, a workshop, a dance class. That's a flyer. Advertisements are basically about products. Okay. Now, there are some cases where flyers and advertisements look combined. For example, you have an advertisement where somebody is claiming that the top rankers of this particular exam are from our institute. And you are advertising your institute because you want more enrollments. But you are also at the same time telling the audience all the details of the new batches in that institute. In that case, it becomes a flyer plus advertisement. Okay. No, sixth style, Varun, it's not descriptive. It's opinion writing. उसमें आपको कुछ describe नहीं करना है. You just have to tell what is your opinion about why there was a surge in the COVID cases. Surge is a rise. Yes, Bittu, prospectus. Final ticket of an event. Ticket कैसे आ गया, Amit? I can't understand. Ticket as in you buy a ticket for any event. That is not anything, neither a flyer nor an advertisement. Okay, so the last thing is quick tips. Whenever you write, be very open to ideas. Don't restrict yourself. Be as open as possible. Okay, I can write on all topics, but one of my favorites is this. Secondly, Please be very crisp and to the point. Long sentences without punctuations are very, very disturbing and distracting. Sentences should be short. After every 10 words maximum, there should be a break. Paragraph indenting is very important because it gives a pleasure to the eye that I'm not reading at a stretch. 25 lines का एक passage बन जाता है and वो चलता ही रहता है, चलता ही रहता है. I will lose interest. इसीलिए we have the concept of paragraphs कि आप 5 lines लिखिए, indent करो, फिर second paragraph लिखो. So देख के वो content इतना heavy भी नहीं लगता and it appeals to the eye. Okay. Punctuation marks, of course. I've seen students writing sentences which start in the first line and end in the 10th line and पूरा passage ही एक sentence होता है. कहीं कोई comma नहीं होता, semicolon नहीं होता, colon नहीं होता. That is not allowed in English language writing. Okay. Grammar, of course, has to be correct. You cannot afford to go wrong in grammar. If I get to know that you're doing wrong in subject-verb agreement, in tenses, then I'll really feel very bad. I'm sure you're having your grammar classes also. You're doing your grammar with other faculties and you're doing subject, verb, tenses, articles, prepositions, conjunctions. आप लोग सब कुछ ही कर रहे हो. Grammar गलत नहीं हो सकती. Right? Maintain a consistency or a flow, which means जब आप एक idea के साथ start हो रहे हो ना, just elaborate on that idea. So सब कुछ एक standard flow में आना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि बहुत haphazard हो रहा है कि अरे फर्स्ट पॉइंट कुछ और है, लास्ट पॉइंट कुछ और है, chaos हो रहा है, वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay. Of course, don't copy. Ideas should be original, writings should be original, and whatever you write, you are probably making a difference in the society. That's the best thing you can do. If by reading your stuff, somebody is changing for the better, you are bringing about a change in the society, then it's just amazing. And on that note, of course, I will end like Gandhi ji said, be the change you wish to see in the world. So write for change, write to influence. Okay. Some very favorite quotations of mine, I thought I'll share them with you. So you have to begin at your house. You have to begin with your own set of writing. Don't get influenced by anybody because writing is an art and you should write only what you believe. You should not write forcefully. Okay. So thank you so much. It was a heavy session. The chapter appears to be light, but actually there is so much to discuss in the writing. Styles of writing क्या होते हैं, identification of writing क्या होता है, and what happens when you will write, वो भी आपको समझ आना चाहिए. So a small request, please practice writing. Take up a topic, उसमें article लिख के देखो, उसमें blog लिख के देखो, उसमें एक book का summary लिख के देखो. Keep practicing writing so that by the time you finish your initial years of your CA journey, you become a good writer. Because once you have reached a certain position, it's always expected that you write very well. You can write a summary of a report, you can write a summary of a book, various things, right? Open mind means that I should not have a restriction कि मैं इस topic पे नहीं लिख सकती, मैं ऐसे नहीं लिख सकती, मुझे इसके बारे में include नहीं करना है. No. Be very flexible and very open to all ideas. Okay, weightage आप please एक बार MTP RTP check करो. You'll get to know all the number of questions which come from this chapter and what is the weightage. That of course you can check. इसी बहाने से you'll at least open the mock test papers. So I think I should end. Thank you so much for being a wonderful, obedient batch. I am really enjoying seeing students like you because it gives me a sense of motivation that, I'm going to have real good intelligent CAs coming up in the next few years. All the very best. Enjoy your weekend. Have a nice day. The weather is calm and quiet and pleasant. And I hope to see you with more topics next week. Thank you so much and a very good afternoon.